So yeah, our whole mobile thing, I don't know where, I just sat down, they said that I needed to do some slides for this, and I just got on this whole holy grail kind of thing, so my little sections are kind of Monty Python-ish, I don't know. So we had the calling, I guess, we had to catch up to other schools. Other schools were doing mobile, and a lot of times, I don't know if this happens at your college, but at our college, oh my gosh, they're doing this, we need to do it now. And I always grew up, if your friends jump off a bridge, are you gonna? No. But, so that's a little different, I guess, when you're an adult. So we did that. And so we sort of had the calling, we had different requirements. And, we needed an app, we needed to support multiple devices. Obviously, we needed somebody to code it and build it. And so that went out, let's get some ideas and whatever. And then, we had the proverbial crickets. Nobody wanted to step forward, and it was actually really hard to do. So I let it go and just kind of sat there and simmered on the stove. And finally, I guess somebody stumbled across another college's app in our CCCU group, and then suddenly we needed one. So we gathered together a bunch of people and talked about a Monday crew. We had, it was actually led by the Director of Marketing and Public Relations, which is precious in and of itself. We pulled in an art director, we pulled in a webmaster, and admission counselor, the head of admissions, and of course myself. So this was probably the first real project, aside from the portal, that I worked on that was so dispersed across campus. Typically, when I have to build something, my normal everyday job, I have a client on campus that I have to build something for. It's one person, typically, not typically, they try to convey what they want, and I try to understand what they want. So, you throw these people in there. The webmaster is, okay, the only technical person in that list other than myself, and, she's not really that technical. So to really mush around the different ideas and whatever, I think in the one mobile session, Josh kind of alluded to the fact of why it takes so long to create an app is because you get everybody in a room and everybody wants something different. Nobody really understands the scope or really has a vision for what the app can do. So it's very difficult to manage those expectations or actually to get them to expect something out of this. So then we had the pilgrimage, and Objective-C. Okay, first, who are programmers in here? Okay, now your other hand. Have you ever tried Objective-C? God bless you. Actually, now I'm fairly proficient in it, and it's kind of funny because we're using roads to do all this stuff. But when I first started, you build your Hello World app. It takes 72 hours to build. You're programming this stuff that just makes no sense at all, and all it does is pop up Hello World on your simulator. It's, and then you want to do some more stuff, so then you start looking, and it's this much code to do this little bit on the screen, and it's just crazy. So there's multiple ways that you can build apps, and I think Brian had kind of whipped through some of those. Obviously, there's Objective-C. There's a ton of online building tools that go through wizards, and they spit out typically a mobile web app. And we have the difficulty of those because then you need to somehow direct your clientele to the right URL in your phone so that it's displayed. It isn't wholly sitting on your phone. There's RoMobile, there's PhoneGap, Appcelerator, and if you just do a Google search for iPhone tools, you'll just be overloaded with different things. You won't know where to start or whatnot. So oddly enough, I think my boss who's sitting in the back had said, hey, SunGard said something about doing something with RoMobile and roads and stuff. And so I looked into that, and I just started playing with it, and it was kind of neat. You could do some pretty neat stuff. So I just sort of played with it in the background, and then this whole project came up, and we needed to really determine how we were going to move forward. And so there's good and bad things for the different types of tools out there, and Appcelerator at the time, which was over a year ago, was fairly mature. I think it's a little better now, but I still had difficulty getting it running. Objective-C is only for the iPhone if you want to do cross-platform or cross devices. Then you'll need to rebuild it for Android, rebuild it, so Romo does multiple devices. And it's HTML and Ruby. We have a webmaster. She can help out with the CSS stuff. I can do the Ruby stuff, and it's all good. So the epiphany, or out on a limb, we kind of had an aha moment, and again, this roads thing came up, and we said, oh yes, we can do this with roads. So all while this is simmering on the stove, and nobody that matters at the college that can make the decision is caring about mobile yet. I'm playing with all the different mobile stuff and just doing goofy things with roads, trying to figure out how it all works. And I don't even remember the silly things that I built on it, but we came to the struggle then with the learning curve, because with any new software, you need to learn how it works before you can really exploit the feature set and really build out your apps. So I'm a PC. No, I'm sorry, I was a PC. And I was a PC. I bled silicon. It was just, yeah. So in order to do iPhone development, you have to have a Mac. Flat out period, you have to have a Mac if you want to do it. So a Mac was given to me. You need to use Xcode, Eclipse, or some other IDE that pulls your project together nicely to program in. You got a new programming language called Ruby. You have a new framework called Roads. Now you're dealing with Apple. Yeah, and then playing with others. I like playing in my sandbox. I don't like playing with the director of marketing and publications, or other people, art directors, and those types of things. So this is a whole new struggle for me, because I'm learning Mac, I'm learning Ruby, I'm learning all these new tools and whatnot. What I'm not new to is learning quickly. I can typically pick things up fairly quickly, read through docs, find things on myself. If I get stuck, if I can't find online, I always seem to find the right person to answer the question, or find helpful people to help out. I'm a pretty agile thinker. Some people say I'm a crazy thinker, and I will come up with solutions that probably nobody else does, whether good or bad. They're out there, and sometimes they can get tweaked. And this bottom one can come right off, because I used to think I was good at dealing with pressure, and the last, month, it's just been bad. So that one, just ignore that one. So then finally we get the ground, and thank God it's over. So we built this out. Everybody finally came to agreement with a feature set that we wanted to throw into the app, and I'll show you. If we had a really good signal, you guys could tap with it right now. You can play with it while I go through, and y'all lean close, and I wouldn't even have to try to project it. My very first submission to Apple, I got turned down. That was the big smack in the face. I was crushed, absolutely crushed. And apparently, the way I built it, and I don't know that this is actually an issue. I mentioned it on a conference call, and I think we're okay. So take this with a grain of salt. With 100% Roads application, the way I was building this, I was using their Row Hub, which is an online build the Apple executable kind of deal. And when you do it that way, it must run on the iPhone, and it must run on the iPad, or look good on the iPad. It'll run on the iPad, but it has to look good. And mine did not look good on the iPad at all. So whoever at Apple reviewed it actually sent me screenshots of what it looked on the iPad, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's horrible. So it took maybe 2 days to play around with the CSS and some amazingly huge icons and things later, compiled it back up there and got it up and submitted. I think it takes about 2 weeks, give or take a day or two, to submit something. Updates are typically less than that, because you've already been approved, unless you have a ton of new features that you're adding that they really have to go through. And since then, I've updated twice, and to fix and add functionality and whatnot. CodeDog.net is my personal website, and I typically post Row Mobile and Roads tutorials and little tips and tricks, mainly because I have the memory of a third grader. I can't remember different things I do. I'll stumble across, how to add something to the phone's database, or how to pass parameters the right way. I always forget colons in this one particular spot, so I'll just throw tips up there so I can find them. But they've cross-listed it on their own mobile site for resources and things. So I mean, if anybody's developing, you can check out things up there. So our app, I didn't tell you, we named it iMessiah, and it's targeting prospective students. So this isn't a SunGard Mobile Connect in the banner to grab personal data app. And so I didn't really want to talk about it because it doesn't really have to do much with the mobile connection. We built and released this before they released theirs. So I already know that about half of it will get reworked into using the framework because they did it way better than I did it. And so it was for prospective students. So we have admissions information and map of campus and news and sports scores, those types of things to try to get people engaged in college and whatnot. And we're planning an actual college app for employees, faculty, and students, and obviously that'll look at the banner and all this sort of stuff. I'm not going to go through all this. Brian already hit it. If you've attended any of the other mobile things, you know about Rails and everything else. So here's, I did some screens in case we ended up in a cave like this. But we have this Droid network thing happening. So here's hoping